So the A'ja Wilson PR team, like, they have to make sure that A'ja Wilson's name is in every single conversation, no matter what.
Just moments ago, a heated debate set social media ablaze as WNBA star A'ja Wilson came under fire for reportedly charging an eye-popping $110,000 for 30-minute speaking engagements. This news alone was enough to shock fans, but what made it worse was the timing and the underlying context.
Over the past week or two, race hysteria in the WNBA has somehow reached yet another inflection point. Specifically, a bunch of WNBA players have come out claiming that they've been victimized by racial slurs and other forms of racist attacks.
Many believe this is just another attempt to undermine Caitlin Clark, the basketball sensation who has redefined the standard for excellence both on and off the court. Wilson's alleged fee isn't just excessive, it's suspiciously $10,000 more than Caitlin's, leading fans to wonder if this is less about value and more about a desperate bid to one-up the rising icon.
A'ja Wilson virtual speaking fees starts at $110,000 for a half an hour.
Let's not forget, Caitlin Clark is no stranger to the spotlight, and for all the right reasons. She's an unstoppable force on the court, a role model off it, and a trailblazer in securing lucrative speaking deals that reflect her worth and influence.
What's a lesbian look like? Angry. You got the angry African-American lesbian who just can't handle somebody coming into their league as a white girl with a bunch of attention.
In just 1 year, Caitlin's speaking events earned her a staggering $600,000, all while she remained humble, focused, and inspiring. Compare this to A'ja Wilson's recent headlines, which seem to revolve more around controversy than contribution.
I think there's a jealousy factor there. She craves not just being the center of attention, not just having the cameras in the spotlight. She craves being the hero, not the villain. She's got to experience love.
Dismissive statements to questionable claims of being the highest paid speaker. It's clear that the conversation around A'ja is less about her success and more about the shadow cast by Caitlin's undeniable brilliance.
All of this success is due to the presence of one player in the league, and that is a generational talent named Caitlin Clark. She's the reason the WNBA just won the lottery.
But here's where it gets truly messy. This isn't the first time A'ja and even Angel Reese have stirred the pot against Clark. Fans have noted a pattern of envy-fueled digs and attempts to steal the narrative from Caitlin's groundbreaking achievements.
WNBA, I'm talking players, coaches, and refs. They're all a bunch of Caitlin Clark haters. They're all a bunch of jealous haters.
Yep.
They are just working themselves up about Caitlin Clark just to hate on her. Skylar Diggins is bumping her. Their girls are complaining on the bench. Referees are getting into it now. They're all a bunch of haters.
Instead of celebrating Clark's rise as a win for women in sports, certain players appear to be consumed by a petty rivalry. The latest speaking fee drama is just another chapter in a saga of insecurity that's as glaring as it is disappointing. What should be a moment for unity in the WNBA has turned into a war of words and perceived status, and fans are not having it. This isn't just about numbers on a paycheck, it's about legacy, integrity, and how two very different paths can define public perception. On one side, you have Caitlin Clark, a true pioneer paving the way for female athletes. On the other, A'ja Wilson, whose attempts to compete through controversy rather than achievement are only alienating her from the fans she once inspired. What exactly is driving this animosity, and how did we reach a point where one player's success became another's obsession? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over.
Caitlin Clark, what she's doing doesn't minimize what they've done, but we should have been giving her the credit. We saw the ratings, we saw the merchandise sales, we saw the attendance, but y'all want to make it about something else. Oh, what about the women that laid the foundation? What about this? What about it? That ain't got nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is box office. She's doing this. And instead of giving her credit, y'all tried to make it about, oh, y'all poo-pooing the old guard. Y'all never talked about the old guard like this. Nah, I ain't gonna let it slide.
Caitlin Clark is not just another basketball player. She's a movement, a symbol of what's possible when talent meets hard work and humility. From her record-breaking performances on the court to her eloquence off it, Clark has captured the hearts of fans everywhere. Her name is synonymous with dominance, grace, and an undeniable sense of purpose that goes beyond the game. What's truly remarkable about Caitlin is that she doesn't just play basketball, she elevates it, bringing attention to women's sports in a way that few have managed before. This isn't just about her stats, it's about her influence, her story, and the inspiration she provides to young athletes around the world. Clark's achievements are staggering.
There are still people who seemingly feel like they just don't want Caitlin to be a part of it. Because with Caitlin comes millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs. And with those millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs, unfortunately, is going to come some people who are not nice.
With every game, she seems to shatter another record or set a new benchmark, proving that she is more than deserving of the spotlight she occupies. But her impact isn't confined to the hardwood. Caitlin has mastered the art of leveraging her platform to create meaningful opportunities, particularly in the realm of public speaking. By charging $100,000 per speaking engagement, she has shown that her words carry as much weight as her three-pointers. And the demand is real, her appearances sell out, her audiences are captivated, and her ability to inspire is unmatched. Clark isn't just making money, she's creating a legacy, showing young athletes, especially women, that their voices matter and their stories have value.
Caitlin Clark was the gift that kept on giving. Absolutely 1000% kept on giving. And while she was doing this, I told you that even boys, men, are going to figure out, hey, wait a second, I'm kind of digging this. Not for her looks, not Angel Reese taking off her topper, showing her ass, or whatever she's doing. No, Caitlin Clark's game resonated. Caitlin Clark's rivalry with Reese resonated. It resonated with me, which means it resonates with men. Real men.
Yet, what truly sets Caitlin apart is her grounded nature. Despite her skyrocketing fame and the enormous paycheck that comes with it, she remains humble. Unlike some of her contemporaries, Caitlin doesn't seek to inflate her worth through unnecessary drama. She lets her actions speak louder than words, focusing on her craft, her message, and her ability to empower others. Whether it's her decision to prioritize structured, impactful speaking engagements over frivolous appearances, or her unwavering dedication to self-improvement, Caitlin embodies the kind of authenticity that fans crave. Her decision to charge substantial fees for speaking events wasn't a move to flex or boast. It was a statement of her worth and the value she brings to every room she enters. For far too long, female athletes have been undervalued, both on and off the court. Caitlin's approach has changed that narrative, paving the way for others to follow. By commanding a premium for her time, she's sending a powerful message. Women in sports deserve to be compensated for their influence and contribution, just as their male counterparts are, and fans have rallied behind her, celebrating her achievements as a win for everyone in the women's sports community. In a world where female athletes often have to fight for respect, Caitlin Clark has become the ultimate role model. Her rise isn't just a personal victory, it's a collective one, inspiring generations to dream bigger and demand more. But as we'll see in the next part, not everyone is happy about her success. In fact, some players like Aja Wilson and Angel Reese seem to be doing everything they can to dim Caitlin's light, a rivalry fueled by insecurity and resentment. Let's break it all down.
Caitlin Clark is becoming the best player in the entire WNBA, not because she's white, because she's that good. She's having Larry Bird impact. She's been the driving force of the hottest team in the entire league, despite her record turnovers. Why? Because she's that good. She's legit good. She's colorblind good. She's guilt-free good. She's apolitically good.
While Caitlin Clark's rise has been a beacon of inspiration, it seems to have ignited jealousy and bitterness in some corners of the WNBA. Aja Wilson, a two-time WNBA champion and league MVP, should be celebrated for her own accomplishments. But lately, her headlines have been less about her achievements and more about a growing rivalry with Clark. Instead of using her platform to uplift or collaborate, Aja appears to have turned her focus to outshining Caitlin in ways that feel more petty than powerful. And fans are taking notice, calling her out for what they see as a desperate attempt to compete where she simply can't compare. The most glaring example is the drama surrounding speaking fees. A report surfaced recently claiming that Aja Wilson charges $110,000 for virtual speaking engagements. $10,000 more than Caitlin Clark's already impressive $100,000 fee. On the surface, it might seem like a standard business decision, but fans and critics alike have labeled it as nothing more than an attempt to overshadow Clark. The timing is especially suspicious, with Wilson's fee coming to light just after Caitlin's record-breaking earnings were widely celebrated. This isn't a coincidence, it's a clear effort to outdo Caitlin in a space where she's already dominating.
But the attention she brought to the sport, hopefully going to have a residual effect for years to come.
They have done everything they can to diminish the impact of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is just such a class act. She was incredible, breaking all types of records, and that's something she was certainly proud of. We saw lots of smiles on the court.
The backlash has been swift and unforgiving. Fans have taken to social media, accusing Wilson of insecurity and calling out the absurdity of her fee. Some argue that while Caitlin has earned her status through authentic engagements and genuine impact, Aja's move feels forced and calculated. The comparisons aren't doing Wilson any favors either. While Caitlin's speaking events are carefully curated to inspire and uplift, Aja's attempt to match or exceed those numbers seems to lack the same level of demand or substance. It's not just about the money, it's about what those events represent. Caitlin's speeches resonate with audiences because of her authenticity and relatability, while Aja's strategy feels hollow by comparison. But the rivalry doesn't stop there. Aja Wilson has a history of being embroiled in controversies where Caitlin Clark is involved. From dismissive comments to her alignment with Angel Reese, another vocal Clark critic, Aja has positioned herself as a figure seemingly determined to discredit Caitlin's success. Just last week, Wilson was in the headlines for her decision not to participate in certain league events, which fans speculated was another jab at Clark, who had given her own reasons for opting out. Unlike Caitlin, who cited a long season and a need to focus on self-care, Aja's vague reasoning only added fuel to the fire. Critics saw it as another instance of her trying to rival Clark without the substance to back it up. Even on social media, the tension is palpable. Tweets and posts comparing the two have gone viral, with fans making it clear who they see as the real winner. Aja supporters are struggling to defend her moves, while Caitlin's fans have rallied around her, highlighting her integrity and undeniable impact. One viral post summarized the sentiment perfectly. Aja Wilson could be so much more likable if she wasn't so focused on tearing Caitlin Clark down. It's a brutal observation, but one that resonates with many who see this rivalry as a one-sided battle fueled by envy. What makes this situation even more disappointing is the missed opportunity for unity. Aja and Caitlin, both incredible athletes, could have used their platforms to collaborate, strengthen women's basketball, and inspire future generations together. Instead, Wilson's actions have alienated fans and reinforced a narrative of division. Her attempts to one-up Caitlin, whether through speaking fees or subtle digs, have backfired spectacularly, painting her not as a competitor, but as someone threatened by Caitlin's meteoric rise. This controversy isn't just about two players, it's a reflection of a larger issue in sports. Women athletes already face enough challenges without tearing each other down. Caitlin Clark has chosen to rise above the noise, focusing on her goals and setting an example of what true leadership looks like. Aja Wilson, on the other hand, has taken a path that feels rooted in insecurity, and fans are calling her out for it. As we'll see in the next part, even Angel Reese, another key player in this saga, has added fuel to the fire, making this rivalry even more intense. Stay tuned as we unpack how this dynamic is impacting the league and its fans.
Caitlin Clark is box office. She is a star, and Angel Reese is to be completely believed that there's no hate. They both get along. They're cool with each other. They're high-end competitors, etc., etc.
If Aja Wilson's rivalry with Caitlin Clark wasn't already messy enough, Angel Reese, another polarizing figure in the WNBA, has only escalated the situation. Reese, who has built a reputation for being outspoken, hasn't shied away from taking shots at Clark in the past. Known for her controversial gestures during games and post-game commentary, Reese has repeatedly positioned herself as a critic of Clark's growing influence. Together with Aja Wilson, these two players seem to have formed an unlikely alliance fueled by envy and frustration over Caitlin's undeniable dominance in the world of women's sports. Reese's involvement became glaringly obvious during the peak of the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Whether it was snarky remarks in interviews or not so subtle digs on social media, Reese has made it clear that she isn't a fan of Caitlin's rise. This negativity was most evident when Reese sided with Aja in criticizing the league's attention on Clark. Some fans have interpreted their actions as a coordinated effort to undermine Caitlyn, as both players seem unable to celebrate her success without injecting their own opinions and grievances. This behavior hasn't gone unnoticed, and the backlash has been swift, with fans calling out Reese and Wilson for what they perceive as petty jealousy. What makes Reese's involvement particularly problematic is her own potential as a rising star. Like Aja, Angel has the talent and platform to carve out her own legacy without tearing others down, yet her fixation on Clark has overshadowed her accomplishments, creating a narrative of animosity rather than one of inspiration. Instead of letting her game speak for itself, Reese has allowed her rivalry with Caitlyn to define her public image. It's a disappointing trend, especially when considering how much progress women's basketball has made in gaining respect and recognition. What's most frustrating is the missed opportunity for collaboration. Imagine the impact if Caitlyn Clark, Aja Wilson, and Angel Reese came together to promote the WNBA, highlighting their individual strengths while working toward a common goal. Instead, personal rivalries and insecurities have taken center stage, robbing fans of the joy that comes from seeing their favorite players support one another.
You know, for whatever reason, they decide to get themselves involved, whether it is actually malintent or maybe they just want to get themselves in the headline. A lot of players got the spotlight this season because of Caitlyn Clark, not to mention just overall, Caitlyn Clark brought millions, literally, more eyeballs to the league this season.
Women's basketball deserves better than this, and the players have the power to change the narrative, but only if they're willing to set their egos aside. As we transition into the next part, it becomes clear that the consequences of this rivalry go beyond individual players. It's a reflection of how public perception and media narratives can shape the future of a sport. How will the WNBA handle this growing tension, and will players like Caitlyn Clark continue to rise above the noise? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the fallout and what it means for the future of women's basketball. The drama surrounding Aja Wilson, Angel Reese, and Caitlyn Clark is more than just a clash of personalities. It's a stark reflection of the challenges and opportunities facing women's basketball today. Caitlyn Clark stands as a beacon of hope, proving that talent, humility, and authenticity can elevate the sport to new heights. Meanwhile, Aja Wilson and Angel Reese have allowed their insecurities to overshadow their own accomplishments, creating unnecessary division in a league that desperately needs unity to thrive. Fans have made their voices clear. Caitlyn Clark's journey inspires, while the antics of her critics frustrate and disappoint. As women's basketball gains more visibility, the focus should be on growth, collaboration, and celebrating the collective progress of the league. Instead, rivalries rooted in jealousy threaten to derail the momentum, robbing the sport of the respect and admiration it has worked so hard to achieve. But here's the truth. Caitlyn Clark's light is too bright to be dimmed by pettiness. She's focused on her game, her message, and the impact she's making, while others waste time trying to compete in ways that don't matter. The question isn't whether Caitlyn will continue to succeed, she will. The real question is whether her critics can let go of their egos long enough to focus on their own growth and join her in elevating the sport. As this saga unfolds, one thing remains certain: Caitlyn Clark is setting the standard, and the world is watching. Let's hope the rest of the league takes note before it's too late. Until then, the fans will continue to rally behind the player who exemplifies what women's basketball is all about: excellence, integrity, and inspiration. Stay tuned for more updates, and as always, keep supporting the athletes who truly deserve the spotlight.